Okay, today I want to go over some settings on this Jazzy Select 6 wheelchair, because you may have got it already put together or somebody else put it together for you, but now you want it reconfigured. Okay, first things first, the chair doesn't come off easy. You think, well, it won't come apart. Well, you pull this forward and it will allow you to lift it up then. But I'm not going to do that yet, because it also allows you, when you pull it, it lets you turn. It turns in stages, see? And it'll turn in either direction. Now, notice this wire. I'm going to hook this wire. I'm going to match this little button here. The wire comes apart, okay? Now, why would I want to do that? Well, let me turn it back. Going back to this right here. If you wanted to switch it to the other side, you would have to cut this little zip tie with some cutters. Make sure you don't cut your wire. We've got a couple more zip ties down here. So then you would cut these. There's another one back here. That'll get your wire loose. Then you got an Allen that comes with your wheelchair. You put it right there. You loosen this up. And that allows that to come out. Now mine is still attached, but you take that out. You can lean it in either way. When it's like this, you may want to lean it in a little bit more. It's best to leave it straight up, but if you like it, or if you wanted to pull out some, pushed in some, that's where you adjust all that. Okay. Then you tighten that back up. Okay. Well, over here it has another hole. You could have put it over there. So that's how you move that. See, mine's leaning out. I don't like it leaning out. So I'm going to loosen it up, turn it back in, tighten it back up. So that's how you do that. Next thing is the height. Well, I don't like the height of it. You know, I'm a short person. I want it real low. Okay, that's how you lower it. Then you can raise it up too. See it come all the way out. Okay. Now, I can see the old line to know where to stop it. Tighten it back up. Well, over the years, I started eating a lot of cheesecake, and I got a little bit of expansion problem, so I want more side room. So down here on the bottom, we've got another adjustment. Now, you may have a plastic cover over it. You can still go through the center, see? This one's not got it. Anyway, you loosen that up, and it will allow you to move in and out. There again, I've still got the wire on mine, but it'll allow you to move in and out. You could also use that to replace it. If you ever got one damaged and you needed to replace it, that's how you do it. Tighten it back up. Always make sure you tighten them back up. So that's your arms. You're up and down. You're in and out from the side. And you're changing over your controller. So what else is left? Well, what about the height this way? Maybe you want it leaning down, leaning up. Now, I do not have the proper wrench on me today. 14 millimeter. Got a 14 millimeter. And you loosen up the lock part. And I can do that. Okay, you loosen up the lock part. But then you got to turn this, because that's what bumps into that gets your height to where you want it. Okay, but this wrench won't fit up under it because it's too close. It's too wide that way. So if you run into that situation where this thing's not going to let out that much, you need one of these kind of wrenches, but mine's broke on the other end. So it would go over and be able to turn it, but like I say, mine's broke. 14 millimeter. Anyway, then you adjust your height and you can lock it back off. You don't have to lock it back off. You know, you just leave it where it is and you're good. So that's all your adjustments on that. Now, what if you want to lean back? You just pull that up and it'll let you lean back. Now, since I'm going to let you lean back so far, and of course it'll go forward too. Now, for some reason it'll let you go all the way down and hold it. That's for traveling. That's why it holds it in place. When you take your seat off and you put it in the back of a vehicle or something, that's why it lets you hold all the way down there. So in case you go to put it back together, oh, it won't move. Just hold that up, get it where you want it, and release it. Okay, so that's that. And of course your seat belt. That's the standard seat belt release button. And your adjustment here where you hold it opposite and it lets up just like a car seat belt would. That's how you adjust your size on your seat belt. Okay? Now, one other thing. What if you're tall and your headrest don't reach up as far as you want it to? Well, that's where you reach over here, turn this, pull it up, lock it back down. Now, this may be to where it's like, it's not doing nothing. If that happens to you, it's got a couple little screws right here, not the side support ones, but right here. You can loosen them up a little bit, and it'll release that to where it'll move. And then you go back to the handheld. And you go there. If this ever was to get messed up, you can take these two out right here and change it. You can take the covers off the seat. See, it's got snaps. You can take it off and have it cleaned, have a new one put on it, whatever you want to do. Okay, and of course it's got storage back here. So that's your seat. Now, we've got to take this thing off. So, I am going to lift them up. Going to pull this and pick straight up. There you go. Now I'm going to sit this down on the floor to continue with the video. Bend with your knees. Alright. Now we're going to film down here. Let's say your seat is just too low. Okay? How do you adjust it? Well, alright. So you loosen it up. There's a nut on one side. Of course, the other side is the bolt. Taking it off. Be a lot faster with the ratchet, but I didn't take my ratchet out. Alright. Be careful not to drop it down into the frame of your Jazzy. So you take them off. Take that off. This is an angled washer. Take it out. It angles inward. So you want that against the pipe, obviously. Now, when I pull this out, you'll notice it's got 3 hot settings. So you line them up. So there's your high setting, there's a lower setting, and there's a lower setting if you notice in there. So that's how you'd raise it. Let's say I wanted to go up by 1 setting. Well, there we go. That's 1. I put that back through. That takes some wiggling. But it'll go. Then you put it back together and you tighten it up. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put it back together while I'm sitting here. So there we are, we're back tight. This one right here, we'll keep it from moving sideways a little bit. But it's not critical as long as it's on there. It just keeps a little bit of movement like that. So if you start getting a little bit more play than you would like, tighten that up. But this one will usually hold it just fine. Now with that said, you want that in there. Don't just leave it out. You want it in there. And there you go. So that's the seat. Alright, your footrest. You'll notice that it folds up. It folds up so you can get out. You know, it helps it when you're loading it and stuff like that. But what if it's pointing up too much, you don't like it? It's pointing down too much, you don't like it. Well, right up under here, there's an adjustment. You turn it with an Allen. I'm using a 7/32. Anyway, you turn it out and it hits a little bar down here and it'll start picking it up. I'm going to go no further down. And you push it in, you screw it in, it'll do just opposite. Your foot will start lowering this way. But what if you want it to be just completely raised up or let down? That's where these two come in. You take them off, you use two 13 millimeters, one on each side of the nut. You loosen that up. Okay, if you want to move your foot in or out or up and down, you take these off. I've already taken a nut off that one, now I'm on this one. Alright, take it out. Like that. You take your nuts out, your bolts. Then you can raise it up, you can go down, but it also has a second set of holes here where you can go in closer and go up and down. Okay? Well, I'm going to leave it all the way down just like it was and all the way out. But if you wanted to change it, that's how you do it. Okay? We put the washers back on there. And it pays to use a ratchet on one side of these, by the way. So much faster. So much faster. Alright. Now these are self-locking nuts, so they'll get stiff when you're trying to put them on. That's it, folks. Okay. Now, one last thing. You're going along and all of a sudden the thing completely stops. That's your reset button right there. You push that thing in and it resets it. Now, something caused it to trip to reset anyway, so you might want to have your machine serviced if that happens. Okay. Lastly, you notice the thing's rolling. Well, when you lock these, push that up. There's one on the side, push it up. It doesn't roll anymore. That's when you want it to actually drive. You know, with the electric motor you're sitting on it, you're driving it. But if you have to push it somewhere, just push them down, both of them, and it lets it roll. So keep that in mind. Thank you.